Just because I've had a busy day doesn't mean there aren't exercises to practice. So let's get on with it. Hi, Brian from Airflow Music here once again. Welcome back. This is day 17 of our Go Practice Daily series. As I said, I've had a busy day today, and in actual fact I recorded today's exercises before I left for an all-day rehearsal first thing this morning. So I'm actually recording these links separately some 12 or so hours later. That's just the way today has been. But no matter, the only thing you need to know about the exercises is that I was deliberately being very soft with them, deliberately playing in a very soft dynamic, because it was a little earlier than I should have been playing open horn, but I was determined to do that today. Okay? So other than that, there's not too much else to say about them. This is going to be quick because I need to get this done, together and uploaded. So let's get straight on with exercise 1. Which is the same thing we've been doing from set number 3. We're going at 60 beats a minute, trying to play in time, so I am tapping my foot and subdividing the beat, and breath starting the first note of every phrase, and attempting to breathe in time, 2 beats out, 2 beats in, on the rest bar. I'm playing this long setting. Your mileage with that may vary, but that's what I'm doing, so I'm keeping the mouthpiece on my lips all the way throughout. So, with that, in record time, let's get on with exercise 1. Okay, so that was exercise 1. As I say, I was deliberately playing these very softly, so a couple of times things kind of faded out on me a little, or the sound quality got away from me slightly, but I really was trying to play extremely softly. And in actual fact, in post, when I've been putting this video together, I've had to boost the volume some, which probably means that the metronome's going to seem louder, which will probably be a good thing. But the notes themselves, it's deceptive. Really was quite soft. Anyway, so the response for me was a little uneven for that reason. But generally I think it went okay. You know, tomorrow morning I'll be able to record these at a more reasonable time. I'll be able to play a little more fully and just really find that response again. But it was important to get these done, and I did feel good for doing it. So the results, once again, in my all-day rehearsal, everything seemed to be in a good place. So I'm not too concerned about that, but that's just my justification, if you like, for why a couple of things sounded the way that they do. Alright, so let's get on to exercise 2, because I'm determined to keep this quick. Exercise 2 from set 3 once again. We're doing the same old thing that we have been. This is 80 beats a minute. That's where we're sticking on this one. We're going to keep moving forward with this. It's the 3 bars of moving notes, 1 bar hold. So first bar of triplets, we are slurring. Second bar is tongued. Third bar is split between slurring and tonguing. Then the hold note on the 2 bars rest. I'm not playing this long setting, so I want to reset. I want to get the mouthpiece off my chops and get it back in time to make the next downbeat. And that's the plan. Again, I'm playing this real softly, so things are probably going to be a little uneven, but that's where we're dealing with. Okay, let's get into exercise 2. Okay, so that was exercise 2. Like I say, the softness, the soft dynamic did affect a couple of things for me. Generally, I feel like it went okay, but it revealed a little scratchiness in the sound up top in particular. And it took me a while with the low notes to kind of find the response and get as to where I wanted to be. But by the end, actually, I think it was okay. So, once again, that's what I was dealing with. It's rhythmic unevenness that is really the thing that I'm working on here, because I'm not playing these triplets nearly as evenly, particularly on the alternate fingering slurs and things like that, as I would like to be. And that's what I'm working on, and that's the reason that I particularly need to deal with these things. And even if we move to a different interval next week or something like that, I may well keep playing these ones on the side as well, just to make sure that I get that together gradually. Anyway, how are you making out with these? Still having fun with set 3? I know a lot of you have written to say that you are. Any questions or concerns about this particular set of exercises, please do comment below. I'll be very glad to read them and answer if I can. And other than that, I don't think there's too much else to say. Let's keep this one short and snappy. Tomorrow is another day. Okay? So, if you're enjoying these exercises and these videos, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll be back with another one tomorrow. Until then, you know very well what to do. Go practice.